Hi everyone, Laura here again with another little project that I was working on, and I was working on this little card, and two things inspired me to make this card. The first one was that I was telling my girl Jackie the other day, I don't believe how little I do with the color purple in it. So for my next couple of projects, ever since I made my daughter's little alterable cross in purple, I realized I really do love purple. It's like my new favorite color. So I decided today to make a card using just the colors. Well, the majority of the colors are just purple. And so I used Dusty Concord. This is one of the new spring colors, Shaded Lilac, and Milled Lavender for all the distressing that I did on the card, with the exception of the little stamp here, and here I used the Memento Tuxedo Black. So real quick, let me go over real quick what I did with the card. First, I took a piece, my card is 6 by 6, and I cut a piece of vellum out, and I ran it through my Big Shots using this embossing folder. And I don't believe I've shared this embossing folder with you guys before, but I bought this back in March, and it is truly one of my most favorite embossing folders that I have, because it reminds me of a window. And what I did was I basically took the embossing folder, and I don't know if you guys can see that, but I just brushed it very lightly with the milled lavender, and then after I did that, I added some of these flat back pearls. I don't know if you can see that going all the way around the card. And then I added my flowers, and this is from a Spellbinders die that I added a little bow to, and one of my little butterfly punch outs, and I also added stickles. And around the edges I covered all that up with the Dusty Concord, and I added some few smudgies over here with the milled lavender just to distress it a little bit. And this little fairy, my little beautiful little fairy, I love my fairies and mermaids, was a stamp that I had bought from Crafter's Companion. And although this is not the actual stamp, I just wanted to give you the name. That's the name, and this is what they look like. I have more than one pack. I have about 4 of these, and if you guys do get them, just know, for the ladies out there that don't like to mount stamps, all their fairy stamps come unmounted. So be ready to cut and mount these stamps. And as much as I love these images, that's the only thing I didn't like about the stamps, because I was not able to cut through that rubber without great difficulty, and many times I made boo-boos because of the way my hands are. That was the only complaint I have about the stamps. Other than the stamps, I love them. So I colored her in with my little pro markers, and then I added some stickles, and I put her on some pop dots so she could look like she was flying. And then this little bird cage, and I know you guys have seen that bird cage so many times, but for my new subby, that was one of my Spellbinders die, and this is the little bird cage that I did use. And I cut that bird cage out of some thick parchment paper. It felt almost like, felt thicker than cardstock. I just have one sheet of it because my sister had given it to me, and it is beautiful paper, and the fact that it has all this texture. And I don't know if you guys can see the texture on it. Well, I cut it out and embossed it, and then I took my finger and I ran, I didn't want to sponge it because I just wanted it to be very lightly colored with the milled lavender and the shaded lilac. And then the little birdie underneath that also comes in the die, I added a little pearl to his eye, and I'm calling him a him. I distressed the edges with a little bit of vintage photo, and then I took my Tim Holtz distress markers and I just gave some definition to his wings so that you guys can see the colors in the birdie. And I did color him in the shaded lilac, but I also put up just a little bit of blue just so that he can come out a little bit with the salty ocean color, which is one of Tim Holtz new summer stamps. I added some bling and some stickles to the birdcage. I added a lot of stickles to this card, guys. I added some bling over here and some stickles, and I added some more little butterflies. And over here I added these flowers. These I got from Wild Orchids Crafts. And this one I believe I also got from Wild Orchids Craft, but I can't remember because it was a while back. I also got this rhinestones. These are all from, I think they're basic grays rhinestones, or yeah. And I added two little flat back pearls here and here, and these are the Recollection flower tins that I had bought in Michael's a while back. I added a little chain which I also hot glued down. I wanted to look like it was hanging, and it does dangle. I also added some of these leaves, and these leaves did come like this. I did not add anything to them. They were kind of sparkly. I had bought this last year after the Christmas holidays, and I think I spent 50 cents or $1 on this big sprig. I basically almost used them all up on other projects, which was on my other channel. Can't see those now. And then what I did was I put the birdcage on pop dots, and I actually have strips of the mounted foam tape, and I cut them in little strips just so I could make this pop up, so I can stick the little birdie in the underneath, and then it could give it some dimension. I don't know if you can see yet. Those brown strips are actually the strips of the foam tape that I used to pop it up. And then once I had glued everything down, I took my finger and I dipped it into the Dusty Concord, and I very lightly just shaded in a few places that I wanted to highlight and show all those details in that embossing folder, which is absolutely phenomenal. And then on the inside, I made a boo-boo. I don't know if you guys, this ever happened to you, but when I finished making the outside of the card, I realized that my card opened this way. Yep, Laura did it. She made the card upside down, and I was having such a fit because after all the work that I put into the card, I didn't know how to correct it. So what I did was, and you will see that here, my boo-boo, excuse me, I cut out the card, and then I built a hinge using the same color. I cut them apart because they're 6 by 6, and then I added it, and to hide the hinge, I just cut out that paper trim because this is going to a friend of mine, and I will be writing the message up here. And I thought that was a nice way to save the card. If this has ever happened to you guys before, and you have not thought about just taking the card apart and rehinging it together, that might be a little helpful. So hopefully none of you ladies out there and gentlemen will go through something like that. And then this die, this is one of my lifestyle dies. I don't use it too often. I don't even know. Lifestyle Crafts, I think it's called. But I love it. I love it. I love it. I need to use this die a lot more often. And then on the inside, this is one of my Just Right stamps, which I cut out, and this is also a Spellbinders die, and this is my Lacy Ovals die. And over here I put another one of my beautiful little fairy, and this is a silhouette stamp, and I just love her. I love it, love it, love it. So that's my project of my little fairy birdcage card. I hope you guys like it, and if you guys have any questions or comments or anything, any questions, just leave it in the comments or PM me. I'll be happy to answer any and all questions. And I hope you all enjoy your weekend. Have a blessed day. Bye.